Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 8. We're doing the presentation about componential analysis and semantic decomposition. Me, Sharifah Putri Praliza, as the moderator and the first speaker. And the next speaker is Syarah Munayuningrat, and the last speaker is Raihan Muharram Izari. So let's start our presentation. The first one is about componential analysis. Next slide. First is definition. Componential analysis is the analysis of words through structures, sets of semantic features, which are given as present, absent, or indifferent with reference to feature. The method thus departs from the principle of compositionality, and the componential analysis is a method typical of structural semantics, which analyzes the components of a word's meaning. Thus, it reveals the culturally important features by which speakers of the language distinguish different words in a semantic field or domain. So, componential analysis is also called feature analysis or contrast analysis. This componential analysis refers to the description of the meaning of words through structured sets of semantic features, which are given as present, absent, or indifferent with reference to feature. So this componential analysis also reveals the culturally important by which speakers of the language distinguish different words in the domain. This is a highly valuable approach to learning another language and understanding a specific semantic domain of an ethnography. The analysis of a set of related linguistic items, especially words meaning, into combination of features in terms of which each item may be compared with every other. Next slide. Okay, the next one is about historical background about componential analysis. The structural semantics and the componential analysis was patterned on the phonological methods of the Prague school, which describes sounds by determining the absence and presence of feature. On one hand, componential analysis gave birth to various models in generative semantics, lexical field theory, and transformational grammar. And also, on the other hand, its shortcomings were also visible in the discovery procedures for semantic features are not clearly objectifiable. Only part of the vocabulary can be described through more or less structured sets of features. Metalinguistic features are expressed through language again. Next, features used may not have clear definition, and the last is limited in focus and mechanical in style. As a consequence, entirely different ways to describe meaning were developed, such as prototype semantics. That's all from me. So the next speaker is Syarah Munayuningrat. So the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you for moderator. Here I would like to explain about example of componential analysis. Okay, the analysis of a set of related linguistic items, especially word meanings, into combination of features in terms of which each item may be compared with every others. Okay, the first example is as in the analysis of man into the semantic feature is male, mature, and human. Next, woman into female and human, and the last, girl into female, immature, and human. Next slide. Okay. Semantic decomposition. Semantic decomposition is the task of understanding the meaning of an individual word by decomposing it into various aspects. Factors constitute components that are talent in the meaning of the word. Jadi dekomposisi semantik itu adalah hal yang memahami makna kata individu dengan menguraikannya menjadi berbagai aspek, yaitu ada aspek faktor, konstituen, komponen yang laten dalam arti kata. Lalu, lexically, decomposition analysis is the component that together from the definition of the meaning of the word that is decomposed. Jadi secara leksikal, analisis dekomposisi itu adalah komponen-komponen yang secara bersama-sama membentuk definisi makna kata yang diuraikan. Okay, I think enough for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sarah, for the explanation. So the next speaker is Rehan Muharram Izari. The screen is yours.
Thank you, Sharifa. Here are the example of semantic decomposition. Stallion equal horse plus male. Stallion itu semacam kuda jantan. Jadi in this case, the word stallion is built up from the primitive concept of horse and male. Lalu the other objections is that if we say that stallion equal horse plus male and take either one of the components away, the other one still is intelligible. But if horse equal animal plus equine, equine itu ya semacam sebutan untuk kuda, sinonim. As it commonly had to be, and take away animal, we are left with equine. But what does equine mean in the absence of animal? The only way to explain it is to relate it to horse. Perhaps it like equine equal pertaining to horses. And if this is true, then we are left with the fact that horse is a horsey animal. And the next material is problem with lexical or semantics decomposition. Problem with lexical decomposition, and one of the main problems with lexical decomposition is that many types of our decomposition leads us to bogus analysis. Here are two examples in sentence. The first sentence, John caused Bill to die on Saturday by poisoning his soup on Friday. And the example number 2, John killed Bill on Saturday by poisoning his soup on Friday. So the first sentence is correct, while the second sentence seems a bit odd. There are senses where cause and die seems to make sense but differ from the meaning of kill. The response to this is that these meanings are very abstract and should not be equated completely the meanings of the real words. When we say that kill equal cause plus die, we don't mean that it has the concrete meanings of cause and die, and merely that it means generally when they mean abstractly. The linguist Anna Wisbicka has argued against this interpretation, arguing that these meanings should in fact be very concrete and intuitable. She criticized this method of dealing with the abstract meanings, calling it more of a translation into an artificial language than a real analysis of word sense. And the next is problem with semantic decomposition. Semantic decomposition of any kind is problematic because there is no simple solution for the atomization of meaning. Although semantic features or attributes are not presently in fashion, they still pop up in different cases within a wide variety of approaches. There is much discussion as to the possible nature of such units, but whether they are encoded in natural language or conceptual metalanguage. And then the final inventory must be systematic, finite, and endless, and endless ad hoc list of semantic primitives to be used every time the need arises. Furthermore, any such inventory must be created on the basis of methodological principles that justify all choices. Even though semantic decomposition may at first appear to be an impossible enterprise, the intuition persists that smaller meaning units must exist at some level to encode conceptual meaning content. Okay, I think that's all from me. To Sharifa, the screen is yours again. Thank you.
Okay, Rehan, thank you for the explanation. So that's all from our group. If you have any question or you have or you want to add some information about this material, we can go to the comment section on this Schoology. That's all from us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.